Hello everybody, my name is Ben and welcome to another trailer review slash breakdown. And this time we are going to be doing Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This is a movie I am extremely excited about, and of course we're going to do this trailer breakdown in slow motion. So we'll go ahead and start here with this opening shot, which I think is a fantastic shot. I'm very excited about this movie. I had to do some research about this shot because I'm not a die-hard fan. I'm not super hardcore. I don't know everything there is to know about the universe, but I love Star Wars, and this is a very good shot. And so this is the planet of Jakku. This was the site of a fairly large-scale battle between the New Republic and what was left of sort of the Galactic Empire. And this took place about a year after the Battle of Endor, which is what happened at the end of Episode 6, when they blew up the second Death Star. So there was a lot of fighting still to do, and I think this is a great sort of setting for this movie to have some scenes in, because it kind of bridges the gap. The movies are going to be set about 30 years apart, but the fact this battle happened and the remnants of it are still here on this planet, even years and years after, is very cool. And I also like the idea of the crashed X-wing in the foreground, indicating that while the rebels won, or the New Republic won, there was still some loss, and of course it was a big defeat for the Empire with their huge crash Star Destroyer in the background. And I think that shot just looks fantastic. So you can also see the speeder bike zooming along. So I'm not sure who's on the bike, but either way, that's a pretty cool shot. In the next couple of scenes, Mark Hamill is his character, I believe it's Mark Hamill, it sounds a lot like Mark Hamill, is going to say some words, so I'm going to let you listen to him, then we'll back up and sort of see what he, dissect what he has to say.
The Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. My sister has it. You have that power too.
Alright, so my father has it, I have it, my sister has it, and you have that power too. So very cool thing to hear, saying those words again that he said before in the other movies. But we're going to back up here and talk about these couple of quick shots that we just saw. So just backing up here. Wish my my slow motion rewind was a little faster, but we'll just have to make do with what we've got. So just backing up here, I think one of the coolest things about this shot right here. So this is where he's talking about my father. My father has the Force, and of course, Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Anakin Skywalker was Luke Skywalker's father. But I think it's very interesting that even though Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader are dead, that he still uses the sort of "my father has it," not "my father had it." So obviously, I think it sort of implies that while Darth Vader or Anakin might actually be physically dead, they're going to live on in the Force. But I think it's interesting that this movie is set years and years after the events of the original trilogy, and to have Darth Vader, who was obviously the main villain in episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then also a primary character in episodes 1, 2, and 3 as Anakin Skywalker. We get to see his sort of downfall and everything like that. I think it's interesting that they're going to continue to have Darth Vader be a powerful force in episodes 7, 8, and 9. Well, at least in episode 7. In this Star Wars universe that's continuing, because the guy's been dead for like 30 years. But obviously, there's enough left over, the legacy is still there of Darth Vader, that they feel the need to continue having him in the trailer. It obviously still impacts his children, maybe his children's children. Just the legacy of Anakin, of Darth Vader is still there. And so that's, in that respect, the character is still very much alive. But we can see the very mangled, messed up, mutilated, maybe long forgotten and rediscovered helmet here of Darth Vader. Still very intimidating looking helmet. So that's very cool to see. Moving on to the next shot. This, we get to see our old buddy R2-D2 making his triumphant return, looking as good as ever. And some character here with a metal robotic hand putting an arm out and placing the hand on R2-D2. So I'm not sure who this character is. They are cloaked, they are hooded, so maybe a Jedi, maybe a Sith. We've had several characters in the series, in the movies, lose appendages. Anakin lost an arm, Luke lost an arm. So it's not something that's strange to see perhaps a primary character with a robotic arm. But it's interesting as to what the relationship is between this character and R2-D2. I was thinking maybe it was Luke, but I think, judging by the body shape of this character, I think Mark Hamill's a little bigger than that nowadays. And so I'm not sure if it is Luke Skywalker, but it's interesting to see who this might be. I also like the sort of particle effects of the fire or the lava, or whatever it is that's going on. And I also wanted to point out, because I did find it interesting, nothing really is done in movies by accident, especially in trailers. And so if you look kind of on the right-hand side, you can see the colors, the blues sort of merging into greens, and it looks a little lighter. Whereas on the left-hand side, it's very angry, it's very red, there's a lot of fire and smoke and flames. And so, of course, in Star Wars, the good guys are the Jedi with their blue and green lightsabers, things like that. And then the bad guys are the Sith with their red. And so, interesting choices here for colors, but a cool shot nonetheless. It's interesting to see how that's going to pan out, what the relationship is between these two characters. But good to see R2-D2 back in the movies. Now, the next scene here is when Mark Hamill's character is talking about "my sister has it." You can see a lightsaber being handed to a female character. Interesting as well. I'm just going to back up here a little bit. Just right here, if you look in the top right-hand corner of the picture, you can see kind of the face of whoever it is who's handing this lightsaber over. Doesn't look very human to me. The eyes look way too big. The nose is a little wrong. The skin kind of has an orange tint to it. So some kind of alien species. I'm not exactly sure what kind, but handing over this lightsaber to this female character. Now, whether this is saying, hey, here is your lightsaber back, or maybe it's the way she kind of takes it and holds it with two hands, almost in reverence. It's almost like this is maybe a relic, or this is something that's been passed down in the family, or she knew the person who owned this. So, interesting way of holding it. And the lightsaber itself looks a little old school to me. It looks like one of the lightsabers from the original trilogy, a little chunkier, a little longer. One that I think in the first couple in episodes 1, 2, and 3, the lightsabers were a little skinnier, where this one looks a bit more substantial. So very cool to see them using some of the old props, and that might very well be one of the actual lightsaber props from the original trilogy. But very cool shot as well. So moving past that, so now we're into new territory here, and one of my favorite shots of the entire trailer is coming up next after we learn that the movie is coming out this Christmas. So this movie comes out at the end of 2015, around Christmas, and about a month after the Star Wars Battlefront video game. So if you enjoy video games and you like Star Wars, I did a trailer breakdown of that, so check that out. But the video game comes out about a month before this movie, which is going to be pretty cool to tie the two together. But I like this shot with the X-Wing squadron sort of zooming in along the lake. And to me, the way that this character sort of is screaming and yelling, either something epic is happening, or maybe they're still learning. Maybe they just became a squadron, or maybe this is their first time out on their own, and they're really enjoying themselves. Either they're about to go into battle, or that they're having a good time. So, interesting shot, and I like seeing the X-Wings. Very cool. So, moving into the next scene, this is the infamous, at this point, triple lightsaber with the mini lightsabers coming out the side that sort of blew up the internet. But very cool nonetheless. And you can see this Sith, or this dark Jedi attacking, swiping down at somebody in a battle. Interesting as well to see there's a stormtrooper in sort of the center left of the screen. However, his blaster is not raised, so it seems to me that I don't know. It's interesting that this Sith is attacking something, and the stormtrooper isn't really reacting. But you can see that there's some type of battle that has happened. There's a lot of fire in the background, sort of a tent right there. So, and here we see two of the main characters. We've got Rey, who is played by Daisy Ridley, and Finn, who is played by John Boyega. They are running. I think this is still on Jakku, that planet. We can see the droid there in the bottom. This is BB-8, the new droid. Possibly cuter than R2-D2, but I'm not sure. They are running away from an explosion. They're being attacked. And actually, if you look up there in the top left hand of the screen, you can see a TIE fighter coming in. That's what's attacking them. So they're running away from danger. And they look like they're not having a good time. Again, we see the mysterious Sith warrior masked, so we can't see his or her face. Interesting to note on the lightsaber that the hilt, the side pieces, are not out. So maybe that indicates that that he or she can use the primary lightsaber and or the hilts, and they can come out depending on what he needs. Also interesting here in this shot to see, if you sort of look in the background there, you can see the stormtroopers. This looks to be at the same planet as we saw this Sith warrior before, but there's a bunch of people there in the background. Looks like they've been taken prisoner. For what purpose, I don't know. But interesting nonetheless to see them sort of rounded up, and then we see the Sith sort of turn around, throw their hand out. And this looks to be using some kind of force power on something on off screen. But very cool shot, very, very dark, very evil imagery. Moving to the next shot. This one I find very interesting because here we can see in the background some type of speaking platform. Looks like some type of leadership figures with stormtroopers flanked to either side. On a snowy planet, there's turrets, there's TIE fighters, there's all these stormtroopers sort of listening to maybe a speech or whatever's happening. But then they all turn around. And so either they're turning around to sort of show their backs, and it's like a sign of dissent, or they're turning around to react to some kind of threat or activity or something that's happening behind them. Interesting nonetheless. I also like that the TIE fighter there on the left-hand side has the sort of white wings that sort of differentiates itself from the TIE fighters from the original trilogy. And here we see another close-up shot of Rey, played by Daisy Ridley. TIE fighters coming in, flying in. Very cool TIE fighters. They look very, very neat, very iconic. Here we can see this is a great scene with the TIE fighter attacking its own. I think one of maybe the primary characters at this point has stolen a TIE fighter and is blowing up the inside of this hangar. But very cool to see these explosions and things like that. And I think, J.J. Abrams at the helm is no stranger to explosions and large set pieces and things like that, so very cool to see. I also like sort of going backwards and forwards and seeing this stormtrooper there on the right sort of flying through the air. I think that's very fun to do. You can also see in the middle right of the screen sort of 4 engines of a ship, and that's going to be in a later scene, so I just want to point out that that's there as well. Here we see John Boyega's character Finn again, taking off his stormtrooper helmet. Whether he is a stormtrooper or whether he's stolen that armor, maybe he's a stormtrooper that's become disillusioned, we don't know yet. And here we see those ships again with the 4 engines and some mystery ship there with the big wings. I'm not exactly sure what's going on in this scene, but somebody is traveling up to a Star Destroyer. Very cool. I like this shot. This looks like a stormtrooper to me. If you look at the helmet, you look at the design, you look at the armor. However, it's not white, it's chrome, it's metallic. This looks to be some type of either like bounty hunter type figure or maybe like an elite stormtrooper. I like the cape, I like the cloak. Seems to me that this is a bad guy. And it's, with the red, with the sort of evil stance, with the red in the background. Very cool character, cool to see this type of thing making an appearance. This is BB-8 poking his head around the corner. This is Rey again helping Finn up. Come on, guys, things can't be that bad. Looks like a lot of things have exploded in the background. And then the Millennium Falcon. Very cool to see the Millennium Falcon making a return. We knew it would, obviously, from the first trailer, but being chased here by a TIE fighter, flying down to the engine compartment of what looks like to be a crashed Star Destroyer. It might be the same one from the opening shot, but I don't think so. The angles don't look right, but there could be plenty down on the planet. But so J.J. Abrams doing there his famous sort of zoom shot where he sort of goes from far away to sort of close up. You see that a lot in the Star Wars or the Star Trek movies that he's done. A very iconic interior shot of the TIE fighter, the pilot here looks a little different than they did in the original trilogy with the red stripes down the helmet and everything, but you can see he's firing his lasers. So obviously intent on destroying the Millennium Falcon, but that's not going to happen, of course. And I'm going to let this last sequence just play out because this is awesome.
Chewie, we're home.
So Harrison Ford making a triumphant return to the Star Wars franchise. Very excited. But I want to back up here really quick before this trailer ends and I sign off, just to point out something here about the Harrison Ford or Han Solo and Chewbacca scene. Is that he says, "Hey, Chewie, we're home." But if you look at the background, at first glance, I thought that might be the Millennium Falcon. But what I really think it is now, looking at it, looking at how dirty it is, looking at sort of the architecture and everything, I think they go back to Tatooine at some point, and maybe he's back in Mos Eisley, maybe in the cantina or the spaceport, and that's why he's saying we're home. Now, of course, I don't think Han Solo was born on Tatooine, but regardless of getting into the backstory of the character, that's where we first meet him, is on Tatooine, so maybe that's why he's saying he's home. But Chewbacca doesn't look like he's aged very or that badly. There's no gray hair. Han Solo, of course, Harrison Ford is quite a bit older. But very cool shot, very cool scene, very cool trailer. I'm very excited for it. Star Wars: The Force Awakens comes out this December. To give it a excitement rating, I don't think I could be more excited about this movie. 10 out of 10 on the excitement scale. I think J.J. Abrams is going to do a very good job with the movie, and I'm very excited to see what happens with the trilogy, and I will definitely be going to see it when it comes out. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got something out of this. Seeing things in slow motion is usually the way to go. And until next time, this has been Ben, and I will talk to you later.